We all use computers pretty much every single day, right? But what's actually going on inside that box on your desk? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to demystify your PC piece by piece, almost like we're building one together from scratch. It's going to be fun.
So really, have you ever just stopped and wondered what's in there? I mean, it can feel like this big, complicated, mysterious box. But trust me, by the end of this, you're going to get it. You'll know the core team of components that makes the magic happen. And it all kicks off with, you guessed it, the most important part, the brain.
All right, let's dive right into the brains of the operation. We're starting with the absolute heart of it all, the CPU. Seriously, every single thing you do on your computer, every click, every keystroke, it all starts here. So, the Central Processing Unit, or CPU for short, the name kind of gives it away, right? It's the central brain of your computer. Just think of it like that. It's the part that's constantly working, following instructions, crunching all the numbers, and basically making everything happen. So, how do we make a brain like this even smarter, even faster?
Well, modern CPUs have a couple of really cool tricks up their sleeve. First up, you've got multi-core processors. The easiest way to think about this is like, instead of one brain, you have 2 or 4 or even more, all working on different tasks at the same time. Total game changer. And then there's this thing called hyper-threading. Now this is like one of those brains learning how to juggle. It can handle multiple lines of thought at once. Put them together and you get a computer that is just fantastic at multitasking.
Okay, and just like our own brains, the CPU has its own short-term memory. It's called cache, and this stuff is ridiculously fast. It's a tiny bit of memory located right on the CPU chip itself, and its whole job is to hold on to data that the CPU needs, like right this second. This way, the brain doesn't have to go searching for it. Honestly, this is a huge reason why modern computers feel so, well, snappy.
Okay, so we've got a super smart brain. That's great. But a brain on its own can't do much, right? It needs a nervous system to connect it to everything else. And in the world of PCs, that's the motherboard.
Right? You've got this brain, you've got memory, you've got storage, all these different pieces. How in the world do they all talk to each other and work together? Well, the answer is usually the biggest single thing you'll see when you open up a computer.
And that is the motherboard. You can think of it as the computer's backbone, its central nervous system all rolled into one. It's this giant circuit board where literally everything plugs in. It's the skeleton that holds it all together, and it's the web of connections that lets the brain, the CPU, talk to absolutely everything else.
And as the motherboard is the nervous system, that all these different connectors are like the superhighways. You've got your PCI slot. That's like a massive 8-lane freeway built specifically for something powerful like a graphics card. Then you have something like the M.2 slot. That's like a private express lane just for your super fast storage. And of course, good old USB ports, the reliable city streets that connect all your keyboards, mice, and everything else.
All right, brain, check. Nervous system, check. Now our virtual computer needs memory. And just like us, it really has 2 different kinds. There's the short-term memory for what it's working on right now, and then there's the long-term memory for, well, for everything else.
So let's talk about that short-term memory first. That's your RAM, or random access memory. The absolute best way to think about RAM is like a workbench. The more RAM you have, the bigger your workbench is. A bigger workbench means you can have more projects, more apps, more browser tabs, spread out and ready to go. But the moment you turn the power off, whoosh, the workbench is completely cleared.
Now, for the stuff you want to keep forever, your files, your photos, your games, your operating system, that's where long-term storage comes in. And here, you've basically got 2 main choices. There's the classic option, the hard disk drive, or HDD. This thing literally has spinning magnetic platters inside, kind of like a tiny, super-fast record player. And then you have the modern standard, the solid-state drive, or SSD, which uses flash memory chips and has 0 moving parts.
So what's the difference in the real world? Oh, it is huge. Speed is the big one. An SSD can mean the difference between your computer starting up in under 10 seconds versus, over a minute with an old hard drive. It's just night and day. SSDs are way faster, way more durable, but they do cost a little more for the same amount of space. HDDs, on the other hand, are super cheap for massive amounts of storage, which makes them great for just like archiving tons of photos or videos.
Okay, we're getting close. We've got the brain, the nervous system, and the memory all sorted out. But our machine still needs 3 crucial things: a heart to pump the power, eyes to see with, and senses so we can actually interact with it.
Let's start with the heart, the power supply unit, or PSU. This component might not be glamorous, but it is absolutely essential. Its job is to take the electricity from your wall socket, clean it up, convert it, and then pump that power out to every single part of your computer. You do not want to cheap out on this part. A good, reliable heart is key to a healthy system.
Next up, the eyes. That's the graphics processing unit, or GPU. Now, if the CPU is a jack of all trades, think of the GPU as a highly specialized brain that is an absolute master of one thing: visuals. It's designed to process just tons and tons of visual data all at once, which is what lets it create the stunning images you see in games or videos. And these days, it's not just for gaming. It's crucial for video editing, 3D design, and even a lot of the heavy lifting in artificial intelligence.
And finally, let's give our machine its senses. This is how we talk to it and how it talks back to us. You've got your keyboard and mouse, obviously. That's how you give it commands. And then you have the monitor, which is how you see what it's doing. And with monitors, the two big things you'll always hear about are resolution, which is all about sharpness and clarity, and refresh rate, which is measured in hertz and basically tells you how smooth everything on the screen is going to look.
Okay, so all the pieces are now on the table. We've got the brain, the nervous system, memory, a power source, eyes, senses, the whole shebang. So how does this pile of parts actually come to life when you press that power button?
Well, it all happens in just a few seconds, but it's a really cool logical sequence. First, you hit the power button, and the PSU sends electricity to the motherboard. Then, the computer does a quick self-check called a post, just to make sure all the parts are there and working. After that, this little bit of software called the BIOS wakes everything up and says, "Hey, where's the operating system?" And finally, it finds your operating system, like Windows, on your storage drive and loads it into the RAM. And poof, your desktop appears.
So that brings us to the big question, right? The one we all end up asking. If we have all these amazing, powerful parts, why does my computer sometimes feel so slow? Well, it usually boils down to one of two things.
First, there's a concept called bottlenecking. And honestly, the highway analogy on screen is perfect. Imagine you have a brand new, super fast graphics card, but you pair it with a really old, slow CPU. That CPU just can't feed the graphics card information fast enough. It's like a massive 4-lane superhighway suddenly slamming into a single-lane dirt road. No matter how fast one part is, the whole system gets held back by its weakest link.
The other big reason is heat. Your computer parts, especially the CPU and GPU, can get really hot when they're working hard. And they're smart enough to protect themselves. If they get too hot, they will automatically slow down, they'll throttle themselves to cool down and avoid getting damaged. It's a safety feature, but yeah, it directly hits your performance.
And that all leads to the most important takeaway of all this. A truly great PC isn't just about having one superstar component. It's not about buying the most expensive graphics card and calling it a day. It's about building a balanced team. It's about making sure all the parts can work together, that no single part is holding another one back. It's about creating a system where the whole is really, truly greater than the sum of its parts.
So there you have it. That's the basic blueprint for the computer you're probably using right now. But you know technology. It never ever stands still. We're already seeing things like chiplet designs, which is basically like building a CPU out of super specialized Lego bricks. And on the horizon, you've got mind-bending stuff like quantum computing. So while the individual parts are definitely going to change, that core idea, that principle of a balanced system, that's not going anywhere. So the next time you think about building or upgrading, just remember, it's not just about the individual specs, it's about the synergy.